Hello, my name is Beatriz, and I am from Fatec College. In the USA, communication with friends and family is more intimate and less rigid. They greet each other with hugs and handshakes. There is also a difference in the region of the USA you live in. For example, in the north, there may be a respect for personal space and more familiarity with strangers, unlike the south, where there is a more hospitable dynamic of nonverbal communication with personal closeness. The stories and nonverbal communication between professionals and family members can also differ between states, similar to many Brazilian states. There are a few other gestures used in conversation, such as thumbs up or down to show approval or disapproval, arms crossed to show frustration, wrong hands to show enthusiasm, a hand to ask to speak, or a wave of the hand in your direction to link someone to come closer.
Hello, my name is Gabriely, and I am going to talk a little about physical contact with North American people, verbal communication in the United States, in limited to expressing gesture, body language, facial expression, and tone of voice. In general, physical contact in a family environment is very uncommon. In the United States, and hand gesture and usually spotted by most people. In a professional setting, overall communication often brings with a handshake only a not acknowledgement from the own individual. Candor is also highly valued in communication by American professionals. And in the USA, most gestures are made with limited contact, excessive or exaggerated use of gesture, facial expression, and body language may be considered unprofessional or casual.
Hi, my name is Cierra Colgrove and I'm a student at FSU. In Brazilian culture, physical contact and standing in close proximity is a common aspect in nonverbal communication. Personal space is not emphasized with large distances. Considered a warm population, they are very welcoming in any environment with a very expressive and emotional communication style in facial expressions and body language. They are straightforward and exuberant in their expressions, which show the clear and direct message. They are also very expressive with their hands and other body languages that our partners often mention that they speak with their hands. Brazilians touch each other while talking, but still have respect for boundaries. For example, in excitement of the conversation, they might end up touching your arm or hand. Hugs or kisses on the cheek are seen on different occasions with friends, family, or acquaintances in greeting and throughout the conversation. They are quite tactful with touching, with it being commonly accepted as a practice. This shows the affection and attention which is highly valued in their community. In a professional environment, it is common to have lots of physical contact, such as patting, hugging, or backslapping. They speak in very close proximity with lots of physical contact, which is all part of nonverbal communication.
In Brazil, nodding your head is seen as something rude. When you meet an acquaintance or even are introduced to a person, you should at least greet him with a handshake. This shows good education and also respect for the person. Some people are educated from a young age to ask for a blessing when they meet an older family member. For example, if I'm going to greet my grandmother, I should say it like this: "Your blessing, Grandma," and she replies, "God bless you." It is a beautiful gesture that we speak, and it also represents a great respect that we have for older family members. We usually say it to our parents, uncles, and grandparents. It is also very common for young people to greet each other with a touch there, which is nothing more than when two people clap their hands together, followed by a punch. It sounds a little aggressive, but when we say punch, it is something very common in Brazilian culture and is similar to the American knuckle.
Hi, my name is Sean Hickey, and I'm studying at the Florida State University. Brazil is a huge country made up of 26 different states. Each state is diverse and has its own culture. It creates an interesting environment where Brazilians have the opportunity to experience essentially different cultures within their country. This level of cultural variety between states is primarily due to Brazil being formed by European and African immigrants in addition to the indigenous population. For example, in Rio de Janeiro, it is common for people to greet each other with 2 kisses, while in Sao Paulo, the normal is a single kiss. And in Minas Gerais, the norm is 3 kisses. They are states of the same country, but have different cultures around greetings. In the work environment, due to a need for professionalism, the cultural greetings are more standardized. People across Brazil will generally use a handshake to greet each other, and in many companies, there's a routine of people greeting everyone with a handshake. This even applies to people who you see and interact with daily, therefore the absence of a hello can be seen as something disrespectful.